Hello, welcome to the Kristin Carrera podcast. I am your host, Kristin. Welcome back if you've been following along. And if you are new, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, like, follow along, and comment. I love to hear where you are on your journey or any questions that you have. Please leave them in the comments. Today's episode, we are talking about how carnivore is supposed to regulate your appetite, right? So, why are some people still gaining weight or feeling super tired? Just that sluggish feeling, and they can't get out of it. It turns out you might be eating too much and you might not even be realizing it. A lot of people think that just because they're going carnivore, they can eat as much as they want, or sometimes they even eat too little. So when you first switch to carnivore, your hunger signals are so used to carbs. And if you're coming from a high carb diet, which most of us probably are when transitioning into carnivore, your body is experiencing constant snack energy crashes and cravings. So what do? You eat. And you eat when you're not actually hungry. And this is normal. This is a transition that your body is doing. And it's something that you slowly have to realize, what is my body asking for really? Am I really hungry? Or is it just this habit that I've created over time when I was on a sad diet? So this is the problem. On carnivore, your hunger cues take time to adjust. I always tell you, everybody is different, right? So some adjust quicker than others. And you have to remember that you're coming from eating a certain way for how many years, right? Ask yourself that question. How many years have I been eating a sad diet? Or how many years have I been eating keto or whatever it is? It's not going to transition overnight just because you jumped into carnivore. Your body is now going through a lot. It's processing, it's learning, right? So it takes time. Have patience with your body. Your body isn't used to being fully satisfied from nutrient dense meals. So instead of listening to those real hunger, quote unquote, you might stop. You still might be eating out of habit. And so instead of replacing it, you're replacing pretty much processed foods with steak or chicken, whatever it is that you're eating. And that isn't what we are trying to do. We are trying to learn the cues of our body, eat when hungry, stop when full, but it will be a process in your own journey. So here's where I made my mistake. I heard that you needed to calculate your food based on your body weight. And so I was trying to eat way more than my body wanted. My body was literally telling me I was eating too much, but I kept doing it because my first meal of the day is usually eggs, bacon, smoked salmon. And so I was like, okay, I need to eat a certain amount. Eggs are only about 6 grams of protein each egg. And so if I'm only eating 2 eggs, I should eat 3 to 4. So I started eating 4 eggs, 3 to 4 bacons, the smoked salmon, and I was full before I finished, but I wasn't listening to the cues of my body, and I kept eating because I'm like, I need to eat more. It got to the point where I just felt like really tired again. I was feeling the fatigue. I felt that tiredness, kind of like when you eat carbs, you know? And so I needed to start listening and trusting my body on the cues that it was giving me. So instead of calculating the numbers, the real key is adjusting based on how you feel. And so I needed to adjust how I feel. I knew that 4 eggs for me, even though there are some women out there that can eat 4, 5, 6 eggs with their bacon and they're fine. My body, this is why I tell you, everybody is different. There's no one size fits all. I am full with 3 eggs and 4 pieces of bacon. That is my breakfast. Sometimes I can have 3 eggs with maybe 2 pieces of bacon and smoked salmon. I've noticed that if I do the 3 pieces of bacon, smoked salmon, the egg, sometimes that's too much still for me. So I have learned to listen to the cues of my body. If I start to feel content with how I feel and I don't feel like I can really eat that much more, I stop. Because if I try to force myself to finish what's on my plate, I'm going to feel crappy. Like, it's just how my body works. So how do you know when to stop eating? Simple. Stop before you feel too full. Okay. So these are just little cues that your body's going to give you. And it's a process. You need to learn what your body is telling you when this happens. So if you're satisfied, but you could still eat just a little bit more, that is probably your sign to stop. You're satisfied. Stop. So carnivore isn't about stuffing your face with all of the meats, right? If you're bloated, tired, you're forcing bites, you are overdoing it. So it is possible to overeat on carnivore, just like you can overeat on any type of diet. So listen to your body, listen to the cues. And I would love to know your experience when starting carnivore. How did that work for you? If you're new to carnivore, are you feeling any of these things? Do you feel that you're overeating? How much are you eating? And everybody's different. There are some people that do like to calculate their macros and their calories and all that. I find that carnivore is simple in that sense for me. I want to leave out all of that hard stuff, right? That stuff that sometimes people just don't understand. Like, how do I calculate my macros? What are my macros? I got to be counting my calories. How much is this steak in calories? So I leave out all that stuff and I just make it simple. I eat when I'm hungry and I stop when I'm full. And are there times when maybe I do kind of eat a little bit too much and I feel like that really fullness? Yes, because we are all human and sometimes that steak that I'm eating is so good and I'm just like so hungry. So I just keep eating. And then I stop and I'm just, ugh, I needed to stop 2 bites ago, right? Those 2 bites make a difference. And I've always kind of been this way, even when I was on different ways of eating. I kind of knew when to stop and I knew when I overate. So it was just pretty much relearning that on carnivore because you do want to make sure that you're eating enough because it is a different way of eating, but you don't want to overdo it. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that you enjoyed this video today. And please make sure to follow, like, share, do all the things. And I will see you again on the next podcast.